The Elden Ring DLC is finally here, and it's totally free. It's PvP in focus, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown and an overview. I want to talk about why I'm happy to see this happening, but I also want to talk about why I'm a little disappointed after all this time. Some of that is because I'm not really a PvP player, but this didn't really land in the way that I was hoping we would see an Elden Ring DLC land. So let me just quickly give you an overview. We're not going to be doing the update at the beginning anymore. I'm just going to kind of give you the overview like this instead of going to a different scene. So they just tweeted this morning very quick summaries of what you can expect at each of the different locations. The Limgrave Coliseum actually is going to host two type of fights. United Combat, which is a timed team fight. The team with the most points wins. Players respawn until the fight ends. There's also Combat Ordeal. This is a time-limited free-for-all fight to determine the sole victor. The player with the most points win. And then if you go to the Caelid Coliseum, that hosts all the modes from the other Coliseums: Duels, United Combat, and Combat Ordeal, with the addition of Spirit Ashes. So when you go to Caelid, that will be a change to what you can do. You can summon your preferred spectral companions to fight alongside you or your team. I think it would be pretty fun to see people do like a Pokemon mode at Caelid, like see whose summon can win. You actually just stay back and don't fight, but we'll see if anything like that emerges from the community and the grassroots nature of the game. The Leyndell Royal Coliseum hosts the famed duels. Players will face each other in 1-versus-1 battles. The first to slay their opponent will be the victor. So those are your three locations, and those are sort of the difference. Now, let me explain why I'm happy about this. I think it's exciting to see Elden Ring get additions. I think it's cool for the community to be like, hey, we were right. These Coliseums are being used for PvP, and the PvP crowd is probably thrilled, and I'm happy for them. I really am. I know that the FromSoftware games and the PvP community that is within them is probably absolutely thrilled for that. However, there's just not really anything here that feels like it's all that substantive. I don't feel like they're adding much to the game other than some rule sets for some PvP. So as a PvE player and somebody who wanted to see more things sort of put into the game, I am sort of like, man, after all the leaks, after all of the excitement that we had about what they could possibly do with this game and the open world, this sort of lands like something that I expected maybe over the summer. So I'm not saying that it's bad, I'm just saying this isn't really at the level that I was expecting to see. Overall, I would like to see a couple of things in the game that might be well beyond what, is possible, but I would love to see them do some type of a randomizer to the map where all of the item locations, all of the dungeons, the enemies in the dungeons, the last boss in the dungeon is all randomized. Most of the dungeons have very similar format and structure, and the boss rooms are generally all the same size, so this could probably work. Same deal with the cave systems. Now, your staple bosses, you can't suddenly move them around. Maybe you could. I don't know. That might be hilarious if suddenly Radahn was hanging out in Margit's arena instead of his own. I mean, he does ride around on his horse, so that might not work. But you get the idea. They could do something more for the full scope of the game to make that replay value just really, really fun. I would love to see some type of a rogue mode. I'm not really a rogue guy, but I think they could do some really fun things with that as well, with the dungeons themselves, maybe some of the bigger dungeons. And also, I just think in general, new areas, new bosses, new weapon sets was what a lot of people were looking to see added, especially in light of some of the lore and some of the leaks. So I am happy to see an Elden Ring DLC. It's cool that it's free. It's great for the PvP community, but it does seem sort of meager after all of the leaks and the waiting and wanting to see that open world and all the various areas really utilized for more substance and more content for the Elden Ring community. I would love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below if you're watching the VOD. If you like my channel, if you like my content, make sure you're subscribed and the bell button's checked. And make sure you're supporting all the sponsors below. Usually during the stream, we try not to focus too much on it, but I am wearing glasses from Gamer Advantage, and I sort of rotate the frames each day. This shirt's from 80s Tees. Their Christmas collection's really dope. It's a great time to snag yourself some Christmas gear. Use code Lono for a discount. If you're one of the people who regularly watches, consider doing a membership. We do those member segments every day. It's extra content for the members, and they even got a sneak peek last night on what we would be covering. We will be covering the Game Awards on Thursday night. Many people are expecting an Elden Ring announcement. Maybe there will be more Elden Ring DLC content or details at that time. We will be looking at the Elden Ring patch notes as well. Nothing big for PV here, obviously, says Barrier. He put them in the Discord. I wish a boss rush mode would have released alongside of this. The most interesting thing about the trailer is that the trailer sort of opened up and showed people playing co-op. I was kind of confused. The first 20 seconds of a minute-long trailer was 3 people, like, playing in the open world. They were running around, fighting a dragon, fighting Margit, and, you know, sneaking around the open world, and then they all go to the Coliseum. I think the point was, like, hey, if you enjoy playing together, if you guys are still playing the game, come over to the Coliseums and test your mettle in some of these brand new PvP modes. So, by and large, I thought, you know, maybe they were teasing, maybe they were saying, hey, you know, there's going to be some stuff for PvE fans, maybe there's going to stuff for the open world. I see you changed your member goal. Okay, this was not my idea. This was the community's idea. So I'm only going to try this once, and we're going to see how it goes. People suggested yesterday, why don't you set it to 25, and then every 25, I will gift 5 to the community. So as like an incentive, every time you guys hit this goal, every time we hit 25 members, it doesn't have to be gifted members, by the way. You can just become a member. I'll gift 5. I think that's a cool incentive. I think that's fun. And it's just a nice rhythmic way to pay it forward, add people to the community. And so I'll try it. We'll see how it goes. We don't want to focus too much on membership, but we are enjoying those member segments every day. And, you know, just being able to give you guys more content as members. They got a sneak peek last night. They got a little video saying, hey, here's what we're doing tomorrow. Yo, good morning, feed. How are you? Derek says, I think it would be really cool if the idea of a master quest came back to games like this. Just the main dungeons turned up way harder with items and stuff moved around within. Easy to implement. Bro Sexy says, I would love full co-op with access to torrent for all players, genuine co-op. That's what I was hoping we would see. I was like, oh, wow, they're showing co-op gameplay. They're showing people moving around in the world together. Maybe they're going to do something with co-op. It was just interesting that, like, that was the launch pad for the trailer. They were like, yeah, here's 3 people in the open world. Here's 3 people fighting a dragon. Here's 3 people sneaking. Here's 3 people fighting Margit. They're like, fight for the Elden Ring. And then they were like, and then come and try out these new PvP modes. To me, it almost seemed like they were saying, you know, hey, if you're enjoying just playing through Elden Ring, we've got more for you. Does that make sense? And that's kind of where I came at it. It was like, oh, at first, literally, I watched the trailer multiple times. I was like, are they dropping hints here? Or is there more Elden Ring DLC planned than this? Is members still having a separating line? No. Nope. We are not doing that. Going forward, I've tried to say this many, many times, and you might have missed it because I don't like to focus on it. We were focusing on it way too much, and so we're trying not to talk about it too much. A member is a member. So if you do a member plus, which is the extra $1, or you do a VIP, you might get an extra upload here and there. I might do some fun stuff on the weekends, maybe more personal content. But a member is a member. Every day we do a member segment or a member stream, you get in whether you're a gifted or whether you are at the $5 and you're picking it up yourself. And again, the community asked me to set the goal at 25 and said, hey, every time it gets to 25, I will gift 5. So it'll always hit 25 and then become 30. And then it'll obviously then hit 55 and become 60. So we can kind of keep paying it forward, make little, have little fun member trains. I'm assuming the Elden Ring DLC will be the scope of most games. I'm assuming an announcement at E3 feels too early. A lot of people are expecting an Elden Ring announcement at the Game Awards, and we will be covering the Game Awards. My trip to Florida has been canceled. Well, not canceled. We're having to reschedule. It's nothing major or serious. It's just somebody got sick, and it was going to basically ruin the whole trip. It's not the sickie. It's nothing serious. It was just enough to be like, if we spend all this money and come all this way, we're not going to be able to do any of the stuff that we want to do. So we basically were like, it just makes sense to cancel. So, Mostly Member Plus and VIP are making sure Lono's kids get the good braces. Yeah. My daughter, they're talking about doing all kind of stuff with her mouth with the orthodontic work, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She's got some retainers now she wears at night and stuff. The 3D printed retainers are really cool, though. I'm pretty sure it's been leaked that a DLC trailer is going to be at the Game Awards. So do you think this is something that I think might be going on? Do you think this is just like a preamble? They just did this to get everybody's attention. Like, hey, there's a free thing. Come and play. Come and check out Elden Ring. And then the big announcements coming later. I would like to see a Sony dev directed Master Quest Dungeon remix again. Those were great, but didn't break the game. Yeah, like I said, I would love to see a randomizer. Like, I want to go through the game and everything's in not the world itself. The world itself would be the same, but you wouldn't go to a dungeon and know that this is a stone cat boss. There's a sword back in this corner. There's an enemy in this corner. There's a skelly that's going to pop up over here. It would be random. Bloodborne dungeon style, something like that. People have told me that like they did something like that in Bloodborne. So I would love to see something like that for the PvE crowd. This is 100% says Wise Guy Vito. This is the free DLC update, meaning a paid one is close by. Randomizer would be amazing. I would just love it. Oh boy, just wait until you get to expanders. Those are practically medieval. She already did the expander. That's been taken out. Yeah. The winding every night and all that. She was a champion, man. She was a warrior. She faced it pretty well. It was hard the first couple of days. This thing was in the works for a while, says Wheezy. An Arena PvP Coliseum was part of the season pass in Dark Souls 3, but this time it's separate. The paid DLC is coming. Yeah, I opened up the show and said, listen, man, we've been waiting for an Elden Ring DLC update for a while, and I'm happy. I really am. I know the PvP crowd is ravenous. I know that they really put a lot of time into the game, but I also am sort of disappointed. I'm like, I'm not really a PvP guy. Now, I could probably have fun with it. I could probably, play it for a little bit and kind of goof off. I still think the Pokemon idea is what people should do. Everybody should go to Kylid and agree we're not going to fight each other. Let's choose our best summons and let's let the summons duke it out. I think that could be hilarious. Now, obviously, that will quickly turn into what's the best summons, which, might be a little predictable and not as cool. But again, I think that I'm hoping that the big DLC paid announcement is like raucous. I need the foundations of the game to shake a little bit. Because, listen, I loved my time with Elden Ring gameplay. I really, really did. Yeah, TJ versus TJ. I loved my time with the game, and I would just love something to recapture that open world sort of like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? Guys, if you're just tuning in, we're discussing the Elden Ring DLC update. Make sure if you're unfamiliar with live streams, you don't want to be on top chat. That's a thing that you toggle at the top of the chat. Make sure you're on live chat. If you're a member, spam those emotes. Let's get some Lono dopes in chat. Those thumbs up to remind everybody to thumbs up. And consider becoming a member or gifting a member. I took Wheezy's suggestion. We're trying the 25 member goal. Every 25 members, I'll gift 5. So I will give 5 to the community every 25. They're already going full-blown Pokemon style mods for Dark Souls 3, except it's enemies and bosses instead of summons, and you do actually capture and use them, and basically no damage to yourself. Oh, that's dope. Now, I was told by FedEx that the Frickmas blend should be here today. You guys see all those thumbs up in chats? You see all those thumbs up emotes? You guys should be considering what that means. PvP isn't as competitive as Dark Souls 3, says Wise Guy Vito. If you want a PvP experience, you play Dark Souls 3, but the Elden Ring meta is very much how much damage can I do in one hit, rather than in Dark Souls 3 where there are combos. I don't dance when you tell me to dance. Zuby's a free elf. So, yeah, we are hoping that the Frickmas blend is here today so I can show you the bags. We're very excited about the new bags. FromSoftware's DLCs are always better than the base game. Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 are significantly better DLCs than the base game, says Caleb. So, are you saying, Caleb, that you think that Elden Ring DLC is going to do that? Really? This seems like something for people currently playing versus trying to get people to return. I think it's easy press, Eugene, and I agree with Wise Guy Vito. I think there's going to be an announcement at the Game Awards. They did this on purpose. There's in my mind, there's no way it's just a coincidence that they're like, hey, let's just randomly push out a free DLC update the day before the Game Awards. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they're priming the pump. They want Elden Ring on everybody's minds, and then Thursday night, they're like, hey, we have a paid DLC coming. You gonna stream tomorrow and Friday? Yes, I am not going out of town. Streams will resume as usual. I was gonna be out of town, and that's not happening, right? That's not happening. I am going to be covering Game Awards tomorrow night, streaming as usual during the day. I'm saying Vito, Wise Guy Vito with a V like Victor. Do they save it for the Game Awards or they save it for the 1-year anniversary? Creature says, this DLC is not going to help them in this current situation with the little blue. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. That's just, everybody knows what that is. Everybody knows what that is. You were right, says Steven Seagal. Oh, Fat Steven. Deleted Callisto. The final boss battle was the last straw. The animation locks did it for me. I did my absolute best to give that game. You know what's funny? You know what is really, really funny to me, Fat Steven? I'll tell you. Hang on, give me a second. Excuse me. I continue to feel the pull to go back and play. And I can't tell you why, but I'm not going to. What do you mean by the little blue guy? So the Game Awards have like a way for the public to vote. And Sonic is winning. Because the internet is basically brigading to vote for Sonic. It's not actually the game of the year. It won't win any awards, right? The DLC usually has very hard bosses because it's meant for the people that stick around. They usually are very memorable, says Loot. You deleted it on stream. That reminds me, I've got a mea culpa. I got some pizza combos. They were better than I remembered. They are not terrible. I feel like if oh yeah, Skywalker Saga is well worth a play. I'm saving that to play with my wife because we were playing it in the wrong way, and it was like, all right, we're gonna come back to this game and play it differently, but I want to kind of like cleanse my palate and not have any memory of it, if that makes sense. Genshin Impact is giving free stuff if you vote, and it's losing by a lot. It was in second place last I saw. It's Tekken 8, not Elden Ring, says Atwood. Oof. Elden Ring story DLC I'm hopeful for. That's what I'm saying, man. I want an Elden Ring story DLC or like I said, like a randomizer. I would absolutely love to just experience the early nature of the game. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine playing an Elden Ring Rogue where everything is sort of sped up, right? You go into a dungeon, there's loot, there's summons, there's stuff on the ground, you grab it all. It's totally random, you don't know what you're going to get, and you run through the dungeon, it's really hard, and if you win and you beat the boss at the end, you know, you get something to really help. You go to the next dungeon, right? You just dungeon crawl it up. But if you die, that's it. You got to start all the way over. Or no, really, really make it a true rogue. Like if you die, you go back to like where everybody's hanging out, and you can like get permanent upgrades and stuff. I hate that I'm arguing for a rogue for Elden Ring. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I've become. I'm a monster. I hate rogues. Atwood with 5 months, and it's a VIP. Says, shout for the starts, chat. Thank you, Atwood, for jumping back in. Who wants to be the first member of the day or the first coffee order of the day? Get us set on our goal here. Again, I didn't do this. Y'all asked for this. So if we don't hit it, it's not on me. It's on you. Hey, we got 2 orders of coffee already. 3 bags of Frickmas to Shadow. Kun, and then Blackfire. Blackfire ordered 2 bags of the Frickmas, and then Elden Ring just emailed me, Coliseums and customization. Apparently they added more customization. They just emailed me about it. I'm not sure. My God, he's like Gunder. I thought I closed my office door. I guess I didn't. Hate rogues, but you love Returnal. That's just how good Returnal is. Yes, that's how excellent the game is. I don't like rogues, but that game is just so dadgum awesome. You know what I'm saying? It won me over. Loney, this is a bonkers wish. If you people are going to think that my name is Loney. You're so committed. If you got that, you would rage when you got to the end of a crawl and got AoE'd by a boss. Of course. Listen, of course. I'm not saying that I would play it for very long. You misunderstand. I'm saying that it would be awesome, and I would play it for an afternoon, and then I'd be like, frick your automatic damage, and then I would go play something else. Julio with a 12-month membership. That's a whole year. Being stuck for a bit here. Keep up the amazing job here for many more. Welcome back. That's a whole year, man. All hail Loney Forge TV. We embrace Loney. Love Loney. Thank you for the 2 spot. Yeah, unmitigated. Yeah, unmitigatable damage. That's right. That's right. I think Returnal gets its own category. It's a third-person platforming bullet hell rogue. Did I miss anything? You could call it a story-driven game. I mean, it's a bit of a mystery. You're trying to solve the mystery in it. You know? The back of my hair is not doing... There we go. I was like, where's the back of my hair? It's all flat. I forgot to spring it up. Unmitigated dropped inputs. That's right. That's right. That's about all it would take. No, you know what? I'm going to tell you what would happen. I'm going to tell you what would happen right now. If there was an Elden Ring DLC that gave me the randomized map, you know what would happen? I'd probably get to the fire giant and be like, frick this game, bro. Frick it. I'm not doing it. Right? I'm going to let this thing come through because I'm going to respond to this guy. Membership is brought up here more than any other stream I watch. Not sure if that's the main source of revenue here compared to ads. It is. But it's a lot more than I've seen. Not trying to be a prick. You succeeded in being one. And I only brought it up because people renewed. I brought it up moments ago to let everybody know because somebody said, hey, you changed your goal. So I responded to the guy in chat. And then... what do you want me to do, man? People are renewing. Should I not thank them for being a member for an entire year or for 5 months? Maybe you're watching content creators who don't have a thriving member base, so they're not constantly thanking people for renewing. Maybe you're watching the wrong people. The thing that bothers me, Callisto, is kneeling to heal. Oh, you can't even heal. That's not the healing is not designed for you to do it in a fight, right? He's just asking, let's be nice. Oh, give me a frickin' break. Give me a break. King Arthur, thanks for coming back in and being a member. Appreciate it. Like, if you watch the doc, obviously Doc's not thanking everybody who renews. He'd never be able to talk, right? But, like, I'm going to thank people for being members and then remind them. Be like, hey, yeah, you are correct, sir. That's how we do what we do. Do you think I sit in a chair for 6 hours a day because... I like sitting in a chair. You know, Immortal Turtle renewed their membership, and Zen's like, listen, I'll start it. Thank you so much for gifting 5 members, Zen. Keenan, Titanium, Fat Steven, Christian Williams, and Proto. There it is. There it is. That's the first 5. Let's put the dent. That's a nice clean dent. Bam, 5 out of 25. This wasn't even my idea. This was Wheezy's idea. I didn't come up with this. What the frick? I told y'all I was hesitant yesterday. I was like, I'm real hesitant to do that. Those braces aren't going to pay for themselves. My $3 raise went through. I'm back on the member list. That's my man right there. Thank you, Immortal Turtle. Any reasons why shipping options are not coming up for the coffee? Where are you? Thanks for the membership, says Titanium. Yeah, guys, make sure and say thank you to Zen. Thank you, Zen, for starting things off today. Listen, Donald, I literally said this morning that we try not to talk about membership too much. We do. I've made a concerted effort in the last couple of weeks to not mention it so much. But at the same time, we get little spurts and little sprouts of people renewing. So I just say, hey, thanks so much. And I remind people, I'm like, hey, this is something that we're doing. This is how you get into all the extra content. You know what I'm saying? Barrier just hit a renewal of 15 months, and he's a member VIP. I missed the part where you brought up memberships. Can you go back and do it? I'm not sure how I succeeded at being a prick. I was asking a simple question if that's the main source or not. I'm still new here, so I was asking. Okay, if it was a genuine question, full transparency, yes. In order for me to do this and sit in a chair live for 6 hours a day, yeah, I need a ton of members. Because if not, we'll have to devote time to ad revenue model, which is upload. That's just the facts of the situation. We're just being honest with the audience. You like to sit and lurk for 6 hours a day? Then these are the things that need to happen. It's a trust. It's a social experiment. It's a bond of trust, right? And Terminal Stupidity. Oh, I love that name. Terminal Stupidity gifted 5 members to the community. Targaryen, Sofa, Matic, Blazin, Bender, Hawk, Cammy. You guys all got memberships. That pushes us almost halfway. And again, like I said, this wasn't my idea. Every 25, I have to gift 5. Don't you dare appreciate and be transparent with us. Thank you so much for 12 months, Captain Toasty Buns. No worries. Hopefully we see a lot of members. He doesn't run ads during the live show. You know what? I've not mentioned that in a really long time, AOZ, and maybe I should just start saying that. Hey, if you've been enjoying the last 26 minutes of uninterrupted content, we don't run ads here. And that's because we don't think that's conducive to the live environment. Do you know what is? A member base. That's the facts, Jack. Xerox coming in with half a year. Yeah, you better not thank me. Jokes, but nice being here always. Thank you so much, Xerox. I appreciate it. It's not working with the triple threat bundle. Oh. He probably has to do something specific with the triple threat bundle. Yeah, if you guys are ordering the coffee, we let you save a little bit of money. It's not like a huge discount, but we did think it would be nice to let you save some money if you did the Best of Both Worlds bundle or the triple threat bundle. Best of Both Worlds is the light roast and the dark roast. The triple threat bundle is like all 3 flavors, so it does save you a little bit. On a serious note, says Work and Lurk, I much prefer to hear thanks for membership over hearing and seeing ads. Ads break the flow of the discussion. A quick thanks just slips in. I appreciate that perspective. Thank you. Yes, like, I mean, you want me to run ads every 30 minutes? It'd be terrible. Pull up the Elden Ring patch notes. Okay, I will. Hang on. That's a fair request. Barrier, put him in the Discord. Give me 1 second here. It's literally all I do. I very rarely talk in chat. I only lurk, but I appreciate everyone here for their good vibes and conversations. Gives off Tony Stark vibes in a good way. What gives off the Tony Stark vibes? What are you talking about? Are you talking about my glasses? Or are you just talking about in general? Like, I've never had anybody tell me that. Watched Fortnite yesterday. Got an ad every game when the fight started. Oof. I'm used to seeing ads on most streams I watch. So I was asking because I mentioned here, it's mentioned here more. Sorry to offend. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. You didn't offend me. It just came off as like, what the frick are you talking about this so much? Maybe I projected onto what you said because I'm trying to be sensitive to it. I am. I'm trying to be sensitive to it. I would rather just sit here and talk about the Elden Ring DLC update and pull open these patch notes about the latest Elden Ring patch and just do content. Homie, I'm telling you, if I could do that for 2 hours, take a break, do another show, and that's all I did, homie, I'd be ecstatic because that's all I frickin' care about is the content. But the content needs a lifeblood, okay? So it's a fine line. It's a fine line. And I don't like disrupting the show to mention these things. I don't. I do not. All right, let me get the scene set so this looks clean when we go over to it. That, and we'll make myself a little bit bigger, and then we'll make the ring green. There we go. 12 months. A whole year from Mitch McDonald, and he's a VIP. Didn't know I had one. Let's make December amazing. You the best. Your hair? Oh, he was complimenting my hair? Really? That makes me feel really good. If that's what he was saying, he was actually complimenting my hair. That's very kind. Let's go to this scene here. Oh, we didn't quite get it just right. Let's block a little bit more and just keep the patch notes next to me. Lono, I sent you a DM on Twitter. I think you'll get a kick out of it. I have 2 of them still. You have 2 of what? So we're going to be looking at the Elden Ring patch notes. I put 115 hours in the first 10 days. I couldn't put it down. All right, hang on a second. Sent you a photo. View. Oh, no way, bro. Vito, you are OG, homie. What an era that was, bro. You know what I say? This is what I say, bro. It's my coffee now. No, I'm just kidding. To the previous coffee company. It's my coffee now. It's mine. Anyway, all right, let's read these patch notes. Elden Ring patch notes version 1.08. The Coliseum awaits. Should I read patch notes in a voice? Yo, my man Donald Johnson tipping $5. Okay, I appreciate you. I do. I kind of snipped at him, chat. I did. I kind of snipped at him. I'm sorry. It's a sensitive subject, man. We had like 3,000 members, and we fell down the stairs, and we overcompensated, and we talked about it too much, and I feel like a dummy, and I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do a great show. Should we read patch notes in a voice? Should we? For the true flavor, Lono yells at each and every bag. For the true flavor, Lono yells at each and every bag. Let's go back to this scene so we can celebrate these members very quickly. Thank you so much. Immortal Turtle celebrating his raise, taking us to 15 members. Gifted 5 members of the community. Daniel Munford, Ganesh, Delante, AK247, and on next level. On the next level? Yeah, on the next level. Myrtle says, paying it forward for a couple that I've gifted received before. That's my man. Caleb says, you did. That's why I defended him. Well, Caleb was the light source we needed today. I started going down the dark path, right? I was like, you shut your freaking mouth. And Caleb's like, yo, whoa. He's just asking a question, Lono. Do you ever have that friend, that friend's like, what? What are you looking at me for? And your friend's like, yo. He's cross-eyed. He's not looking at you. Anyway, all right, let's read these patch notes. In this new update, a brand new multiplayer feature in the form of a Coliseum Arenas has been added, as well as new hairstyles for you to enjoy. Additionally, new balance adjustments have been made to improve the stability of gameplay. Please note that online play requires the player to apply this update. Here's all the targeted platforms. Here's everybody that's getting the update. Sorry I'm late. I've been having a lot of crap to do at school and stuff. How's it going? Well, we can finally start the show. You have thick skin. It's all good, man. See, I like people like you. I'd rather have somebody come in and say something, and I overreact, and they're like, Jiminy frick, bro. I was just asking a question instead of getting all upset and leaving. You know what I'm saying? It says a lot about you as a person. Okay. Major new features. The Coliseum of Limgrave, Kylid, and Lindell are now open. In these arenas, players can engage in a variety of combat trials, one-on-one, duels, free-for-alls, team battles, makeout sessions, up to 6 players. I'm just kidding, that's not in there. Team battles up to 6 players, and special fights with spirit summoning enabled. Learn more about the Coliseums by visiting our dedicated article. I'm going to middle mouse click that. We'll read that. We're going to read that right now. Michael B. with half a year of membership. That is half a year. Okay, so this is the dedicated article about the actual Coliseums. So we're just going to read this quickly so it's sort of contained in here. Elden Ring free Coliseum update available now. Rise once again tarnished. The free Coliseum update in Elden Ring is available today on all platforms. The DLC brings new player versus player features and all new cosmetic options. Right? All right. PvP Coliseums. The Coliseum doors open for the first time to reveal a new challenge, unlocking 3 new arenas located in Limgrave, Caelid, and Leyndell. Each arena comes with its own set of rules and will be theaters of fierce player versus player confrontation. Quiet's back. Oh, is Quiet shy? Oh, she is. She's in the chat. What's up, person, my friend? You didn't offend anyone. Hopefully you stick around and pick up a gifted sub. Seem like a nice person. Quiet's a nice person, too. Okay, let's keep reading. The Limgrave Coliseum features 2 modes, United Combat and Combat Ordeal. In United Combat, combatants will be divided into 2 teams to fight in timed battles with the ability to respawn. Each death and respawn grants points to the adversaries, offering victory to the team with the higher score. Right? So this is just basically, you know, team deathmatch, right? I mean, I guess they're just copying Call of Duty. I'm totally kidding. I think we should start a channel. And it's literally just the worst gaming takes. The worst gaming takes. No, that doesn't work as an acronym. The worst gaming takes, and it's just shorts like that. Like read it like a really angry newscaster. Well, apparently they're adding PvP to Elden Ring, just copying Call of Duty. Nobody does anything new anymore. And then that's just the video. That's the short. And just the seething rage of the internet. I could probably retire, you know? I'm going to start that channel. In Combat Ordeal, so this is the other mode, it's every tarnished for themselves. Combatants in this mode can also respawn until the timer hits 0, and the one with the most points will prevail as victor. You know, I love microtransactions. My favorite thing about microtransactions is instead of spending all my money at once, I spend it little by little. It's the better way and more frugal way to spend your money. Download Genshin Impact today. Like, back all of the worst games and the worst practices. They're like, this frickin' guy, he's terrible. He's the worst. And I can't stop watching him, and I'm arguing in the comments with him. Oh, we're going to make so much money with that channel. All right, the Royal Coliseum, located in Leyndell, features duel mode. 2 tarnished will face off in a duel to the death and without the ability to respawn. Okay, so when you go to Leyndell, there's a duel mode there. I believe it also has the United Combat and Combat Ordeal. Like, I think it's also included, but they're adding duel mode there. The Caelid Coliseum features all of the aforementioned modes with the addition of being able to summon spirit. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I had that backwards. Caelid has all of the aforementioned modes, and then they add summon spirit ashes. I think that the Royal Coliseum in Leyndell is just the duel mode. Is that correct? My man Jay White with half a year of support, and it's a member plus. It's my man. I think pay to win is fine. People should just stop being poor or having kids. What's the matter with pay to win? I don't understand. Are you poor? Did you have too many children? Abandon them. Pay to win is the best thing that's ever happened to gaming. I said abandon them. That's terrible. That's truly awful. That is terrible. Join the fight on your own or use group passwords to match up against your friends and prove your worth. We should do community game night. We should do a fight night. You know what I mean? You sound like somebody that I ran into in Gotham Knights. They said Gotham Knights will be game of the year. It's better than Ragnarok. My gosh. How many six-packs did they drink before they said that? Cosmetics. 5 new hairstyles also await players returning to their adventure in Elden Ring or taking on the new challenge in the Colosseums. Answer the call of the lands between once again and watch the trailer. Wait, what? This is great. This sentence This sentence is so unintentionally funny. Answer the call of the lands between once again and watch the trailer. What? Why did you say that at the end? It's so serious. You know what I'm saying? You're answering the call of the lands between on make sure and watch the trailer. All right. PvP exclusive balance adjustments. All right, you PvPers. All right, Elden Ring PvP fans. I'm trying to balance family life, work life. What can I do to keep everyone happy? Quit your job, kill your family. Oh, you're gonna need to level that up. Oh, the soul jars. Did they buff them? Reduce thrusting weapons counterattack damage. Reduce guard efficiency when attacking with your shield up for some weapon types. The poise damage of the following weapons has been reduced. Weapon art's poise damage remains unchanged. Okay, good, because I love square off. Straight swords, thrusting swords, heavy thrusting swords, curved swords, axes, spears, twin blade swords, and katanas. So they've lowered poise damage. That's unfortunate. Reduce the poise damage of the incantation Bestial Sling. Oh, is this only in PvP? Oh, good. Oh, that's right. It says it right here. PvP exclusive balance adjustments. Guys, it's on the screen. Just learn to read. Jeez. Reduce the power of the spell Carry and Slicer. All right, these are general balance adjustments. All right, this is everybody. I'm sorry, this is everything. Hey, chat, I'm checking on coffee orders. I want to make sure and thank everybody that does it. Hey, my man D-Tom did the triple threat, dark roast, light roast, and the Frickmas blend. Triple threat. That's not a thing that we say. I just did that. Thank you very much. Okay. These are general balance adjustments. Increase the speed and distance of some attacks and reduce recovery time for the following weapons. Daggers, axes, hammers, flails. Oh, dual-wielded flails. Okay. Okay. Increase the speed of some attacks and reduce recovery time for the following weapons. Twin blade two-handed, reaper fist, and claw. Slightly increase the speed of crouching and rolling attacks of colossal swords. Excuse me, hang on. Excuse me. Slightly increase the speed of crouching and rolling attacks for colossal swords. Okay. So when you're crouching with a colossal sword, you'll be faster, like little twinkle toes, I guess. Increase the stagger damage of Axe's guard counters. That'd be good for my wife's character. I mean, she doesn't play that much, but when she did play, she had an axe, and she was pretty good. She was getting good at the guard counters. Increase poise when attacking with two-handed hammers. Increase poise damage of claws. Weapon arts remain unchanged. You're going to get some light roast after Christmas? I appreciate that very, very much. Increase poise value during the active part of the stamp. Upward cut or sweep weapon art. Increase poise damage of the weapon slash, part of the transient moonlight weapon art, and reduce the poise damage of the magic wave. Reduce the speed, thrusting swords, and heavy thrusting swords crouching attacks. Yo, a 6-month renewal from my man Jay Murph, and it's a member plus. Sorry for being the catalyst that got the whole member conversation going, but I noticed you changed the member goal. It's all your fault, Jay Murph. By the way, we're sitting at 15 out of 25. We're only 10 away. Thanks for bringing it up again, Jay Murph. Oh, you know what we stopped doing too? We stopped asking for likes on the video because it's kind of cringe. But what I do say sometimes, I'm like, hey, spam the Lono dope emotes. Reduced stagger caused by double-handed heavy thrusting swords jumping attacks. Okay, so hang on. Stagger is going to be reduced if you use a double-handed heavy thrusting sword jumping attack. Okay. Looking smexy, sir. Thank you so much, Mipsy, for 9 months. And it's a member plus. Welcome back. My man Donald Johnson says, hey, why do you bring up memberships? Just kidding, man. It's like Groundhog's Day. Caleb, get ready. Listen, Donald, what the frick? Why would you bring that up? Why would you ask that question? Golly, the nerve of some people. Reduce the stagger. People are going to be like, didn't this just happen? I want somebody in chat to be genuinely confused. They're like, is my stream looping? This just happened a minute ago. Reduce poise damage of hammers, great hammers, and some colossal weapons. Weapon arts remain unchanged. Reduce the poise damage of the Cragblade weapon art. Reduce hitbox duration of the flame portion of the Flaming Strike weapon art. Reduce the poise damage of the Flame of the Red Mains weapon art. Reduce the time it takes to activate the guard part of the Shield Bash weapon art. And then reduce the poise damage of the Gravity Bolt weapon art. I'm not reading bug fixes. I hate reading bug fixes. All right, there we go. So that's all the changes that they're making. My man Murph Dog jumping back in. 15 months, and it's a member VIP. Oh, look at the membership re-up. Weird. Anyway, so about those membership changes. Is my stream looping? I could have swore this just happened. Yeah, Caleb's like, whoa. We need a Bill Murray emote. Yeah. So there you go. The thing that I want to discuss with you guys, right, is how you can become a member. I'm just kidding. The thing that I want to discuss with you guys, what do you want to see from a DLC, right? Because this doesn't feel like the actual DLC. This is like a free preamble. I think we're getting a big announcement at the Game Awards, right? Is this a new thing, Weird Stream Wednesdays? Yes. Kratos hits 3 months of a membership. It's a VIP level. Just stop by to like the vid and say Gamer Advantage glasses are dope AF. No glare or blue tint. Go pick up a pair. Last thing, do you think this update will lead to tournaments? I could see some fan-made tournaments, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And thank you for telling everybody to use the glasses command and support us over there at Gamer Advantage. And TaylorMade is going to put us on the doorstep of the day. Well, it's not a daily goal, really. It's a goal that every time we hit it, I have to gift members. And TaylorMade's going to put us on the doorstep. Genghis Khan, Texas. Those are 2 words and a name that I never thought I would say close together, ever. Genghis Khan and Texas both got a membership. Stephen Richard Davidson, Rude Rogers, and Adrian Firestorm. Thank you guys so much for jumping in. That puts us at 20 out of 25. Every 25 members, I got to give 5 to just say thank you to you guys. So thank you so much for being generous to the community, Taylor. You can always pay it forward if you just got one. I've never said this before, especially in a member stream, but these Gamer Advantage readers are great for video calls. Other glasses have too much glare. Terminal Stupidity's going to do it. He's like, hey, I'll do it. I'll put us to 25. There it is. We hit it really fast. Good idea, Wheezy. Duncan gets one. My man, M-Man June, being so positive and funny this morning. It's me, Bernie, Skeletor, and Lewis have all received a membership. That means that you guys get to be a part of those member streams and the sneak peek uploads and the private club that gets to talk to the President of the United States. I'm just kidding. That's a Sipper thing that I'm a part of. I'm sorry. We have to edit that part out. We don't. That's not a thing. I've never. I don't have a phone. I can't call the. I'm not a part of the Illuminati. I'm not a member. There is no. There is no Illuminati. There it is. There is no Illuminati. Sorry. Forget I said that. Here, I'll distract you with 5 members. That's gonna put us to 30. This should be a good distraction. Forget that I said. Do the glasses help your eyes from burning gaming after long periods of time? Yes, they do. Yeah, the glasses help with eye strain and blue light. Yes. There's my 5 as promised. Every 25 members, I will do that. Welcome into Reforge Gaming, TC Gamer, Gerald Perez, Seraph, M. Rudy, Sword Tower, and Greg Wright. You guys just got busted into the fold. Thank you so much for doing it. And that puts us at 30. Should I don't think I should reset it every time, right? Because now we need 55, right? Every 25, I'll do this to say thank you. I don't think we should reset it, though, should we? That would be confusing. I don't freaking know. Anyway, let's shut it down. So what do you guys want from a DLC, though? I kind of hope like an area like they did for Dark Souls 3, says Brain Eclipse. I love the open world, but I want that Dark Souls feeling again. Don't reset it. That'd be weird. Yeah. Okay, we won't reset it. I want to celebrate all the work that you guys are doing. You know, I want to celebrate how high we can get that. We could just say member count for the day, maybe, now that we're past it. Madam put too many crumpets in his coffee. No. Do the glasses help with 55 FPS induced headaches? Asking for my brother. You. Anyway, yeah, like, I look at the DLC, I look at Elden Ring DLC from two different ways, right? Either you do something humongous, like a brand new big area and new bosses, or just do something to the whole map, right? M-Man June says, you two gave me this, so blame them. It's the time I have to thank you for being cool and funny. Well, thank you, M-Man June. Appreciate that. I think someone gifted some Kraken. I wouldn't be high energy if I had Kraken. I'd be getting emotional and slurring. I'd be like, you guys are just the best. It's just, I don't. If you want to see that, tune in on a Friday night. Yo, Hayden Luker jumping back in on a member plus. Maybe an Artorias of the Abyss type DLC where we go back in time to the Shattering. That's what I'm saying. Like, change the map, right? Change the game. Do something, like randomize the dungeons. I want new Elden Ring gameplay. That's what I'm saying. That's 11 p.m. on any given Friday. Yeah, if you are a brand new member, if you're one of the lucky 30 people who got gifted today, every Friday night I play games with my wife. It's hilarious, and I'm usually having drinks and being an idiot. I'd pay full game price for a DLC like that. That's what I'm saying, bro. I would drop $40 on that without breaking a sweat. We could bring back From Friday for, you know, maybe a month. It should have worked. I'll bring back From Friday, you know, for a little while. You know, the From boys will come back in. And then they'll leave as quickly as they showed up because I'll start getting critical. I'll be like, well, see, this is the problem. This is what I was talking about. My man Reaper upgraded to Reforge Member Plus. Thank you so much for doing that. Gotta run. Have a good day, all. I was hoping Donald would get a gifted. More From Friday equals more gooder. That's right. It's perfect month in Christmas. That's right. Peace, Donald. Have a good one, Donald. Caleb's like, come back, Donald. Please come back. I like the addition of the gifted member counter. It seems like it gives an incentive and reminds people to become one. Yeah, I think it's helping, P. Dudley. I do. I don't want to be like, can you please become a member? I don't want to do that. I'll be back in a minute, around 45 minutes. Once again, thank you for the gifted sub. Well, thank you for being here. I also liked what Barrier brought up, a boss rush. Because I do think something that happens with the replay value of Elden Ring is you just want to get to the bosses a lot of the times, don't you? Did I just have like a system-wide stutter, or was that just my brain locking up? Yeah, that was just the simulation acting up. I'll be back tomorrow. All good. I don't scare off easily. I like arguments made here. Well, I appreciate that. That's the whole month of more unmitigated damage. Make sure you'll be able to handle it. That's right. Lono is the new Elden Ring PvP god. Torrent and co-op. That's what I'm saying, Hayden. They opened up the trailer, the Elden Ring Coliseum update trailer. It opened up with 20 seconds of people roaming around doing co-op. It's like, okay, you're clearly drawing everyone's attention to playing with other players in the open world to then say, hey, come play PvP. Do you know? You see what I'm saying? Don Johnson was here. Tubbs. I don't know if it's Tubbs. Having an arena-style DLC with no boss rush is odd, says Eugene. I'll be just listening because I don't get this essay done. I'm going to fail English. Get your essay done. You're not allowed to talk in my chat until it's done. Stop it. Reward yourself for the work. Give yourself little, micro rewards, and then you'll find yourself being more efficient at tasks. The bosses were the reason to blitz the game the first time. Replay value comes down to new weapons and schloot. In any game, I would appreciate both boss rush and all individual boss fights once you kill them. Once in like a menu or something. I mean, is it odd, says Wheezy? Dark Souls 3 had the same exact thing. If you have it on PC, there's a good co-op mod. Yeah, I've heard really good things about that co-op mod. I was confused yesterday, Brain Eclipse. When I saw the trailer for this, I thought they were hinting at a co-op update because I didn't realize you could just play co-op open world. I thought you could only summon people for like a boss fight. Because everybody talked about co-op, about like it always was like, so they talked about it as if it was like restrictive, right? And I wasn't sure if that co-op mod on PC was being so celebrated because it was, it was solving a bunch of problems that had frustrated people. Does that make sense? So that was kind of how I took it. It was like, well, maybe people are celebrating this because co-op was so bad and so restrictive. And then people are like, no, you can play co-op together. That's 6 months of membership for Reaper at a plus. Thank you so much. It's kind of restrictive, says Rock. There's no torrent when you're in co-op. I wish we get some Bloodborne anything. Tomorrow the server for Bloodborne are going down for maintenance. Really? Feels like a really big commitment to replay the game. Like the other Souls games are actually pretty short once you know what you're doing and where you're going. Elden Ring is massive no matter what. What's good, Lono? What's good, Sven? Guys, thanks for the strong turnout today, man. There's so many people here. We covered Elden Ring quite a bit. We played it quite a bit. I tried to do a no summons playthrough, but the interest just kind of dried up. And I've been hoping that they could do something with the game that we could go back and spend some time in. And if you like this kind of coverage, if you like a safe for work talk show, we do this Monday through Friday. So be sure to hit subscribe so you can talk in my chat, and then you'll see me in your sub feed all week. If I'm ever not on your homepage, check your sub feed, because sometimes YouTube won't show me to you, but I'm here streaming. We do multiple shows a day. I'd argue it's not 20 hours on my second playthrough. Well, yeah, New Game Plus goes really fast the first time especially. My phone has finally learned to autocorrect the word Lono if I spell your name wrong. I made it. I've made it. I disagree. For me, replay value is the different builds you can make, says Lone Wolf. I think the co-op in the game is pretty good. Not great, though. You can spend a lot of the game together, but not all of it. You did a new character, and it took you 20 hours? That's pretty fast. It's safe for work. We'll tell you to abandon your children, but it's safe for work. That's right. Maybe a member goal would be Madam having to PvP against community members. Listen. If you guys get me to 1,200 before Friday night, we will host some type of a fight night thing with Madam in Elden Ring. I'm leaving it to you. I was gonna say 1,000, but we're too close to 1,000. You give me a 1,200, and we'll do something. We'll do something. It ain't gonna be the whole night. But we could have some fun with Elden Ring. We could. We'll experiment on Friday, and then if we feel like it's fun, we'll set another goal and do something big. What's the current sub count? We're in the 900s. The co-op mod is amazing in Elden Ring. I've heard nothing but good things about the Elden Ring PC co-op mod. I've heard nothing but good things. Everybody loves it. You have a wedding in Christmas? Well, you can always go back and watch it later. We are currently sitting at 949 members. We're basically 50 away from 1,000. Yo, what's good, Takashi? This is my man right there. I love that guy. I'm not exactly a PvP enthusiast in Elden Ring. I'm not exactly PvP material there. I'm pretty sure you can't make a contract that binds a third party, but I won't tell anybody if you don't. Quit lawyering, lawyer. That's what the mod adds. Okay, so this is what the mod adds for co-op on PC. All right. Simply put, the mod allows you to play with friends throughout the entirety of the game with no restrictions. With this, it's theoretically possible to play the game from the tutorial up to the final boss completely in one co-op session. If a player dies, they will respawn in the same world as the last bonfire they rested at. The session will not be terminated. Defeating enemy bosses and clearing areas no longer sends cooperators home. All fog walls, barriers that usually restrict the multiplayer zone, along with their respective teleports, are gone. All players can use Torrent, assuming they have the whistle, in a session together. All map waypoints will synchronize, allowing you to navigate the world in a group easier. When one player rests at a site of grace, the world state will reset for all players. This is necessary to prevent enemy desync. Game progression events completed in online play will also progress the game in your own world. Vare's questline no longer needs invasions to progress. An overhaul to Elden Ring's peer-to-peer connection system using Steam's newer network API. Yeah, these modders are out here doing the Lord's work. Jiminy Christmas. That's just a mod on PC that I was reading. Oh, I'm sorry. You probably came in, you're like, this sounds amazing. Yeah, no, sorry. Nothing but disappointment for you, Nomies. Sorry. Yeah, it's co-op mod for PC. I was literally reading that thinking this would be really fun for Madam and I, but I don't want to have to try to do 2 rigs. Probably a bad idea though too. We like to chill in the evenings with games, and we've been enjoying Dismantle. It's like a super chill game, and I don't know. Elden Ring co-op would not be chill for very long. I'd be like, babe, I told you to heal. Anyway, I play with a bud. I like the co-op. Anything that makes that better is great in my book. Love getting invaded. What I said on replay is the same thing you said. You strawmanned my argument? Me? I strawmanned your argument? Is the same thing? My bad. I misunderstood what you meant. Oh, you and Lone Wolf are having a bit of a debate, a bit of a back and forth. Modders are the true Elden Lords. That's right. We need that as an official release. It has PvP areas that were part of DLCs. So Dark Souls 3 never had a PvP only DLC, says Eugene. It has PvP areas that were part of the DLCs. Drexen says, caught me. Lono, I officially don't enjoy your work as much. Consider it a debuff. What? Caught you what? Oh, you guys thought I was reading an actual official update for Elden Ring. Oh my gosh. We have a statement prepared. There'll be no questions after I read through this. On December the 7th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I unfortunately read through a document that was the details of a mod for PC. The audience was given the impression this was an update coming to the game of Elden Ring, distributed by Bandai, developed by FromSoft. At this time, I would like to formally apologize to all of those who were confused by my statements. There'll be no questions at this time, and please no twitlongers. Yeah, sorry about that. Yo, it's Good Train. Elden Ring has some of the best mods ever made. It seems like it. Jiminy Christmas. I mean, that's a lot of work that, what, a team of people? Will you resign? I said no questions. This interview is over. So again, odd to me not to have a boss rush in a Coliseum DLC, especially after Sekiro's boss rush was so well received. I'm sorry, I have to get this out there. The more we talk about Elden Ring, the more I realize there shouldn't even be a debate. Elden Ring is a generationally defining game. So you're trying to bring up Game of the Year? Elden Ring versus God of War Ragnarok? You think Elden Ring Game of the Year is happening? Listen, I'll be fine if it wins. I will. If God of War Ragnarok wins Game of the Year, or if Elden Ring wins Game of the Year, I'm not going to be upset either way. They're both games that I think are worthy of wearing the crown. Can any boss survive Thor, God of Thunder? Sekiro didn't get a DLC for 19 months after release, so I don't know Elden Ring will get one, but I hope so. This is what I think they're going to do. I think there's going to be an Elden Ring DLC announcement at the Game Awards this Thursday night, and we will be covering and co-streaming it. So make sure you have, your subscription and your alerts and all that stuff turned on. We will be co-streaming it. Now, if Gotham Knights wins, I don't think that's going to happen. Gotham Knights hasn't even been nominated for a single dadgum category. It hasn't. Gotham Knights has not been nominated for a single category. So it can't, you can't win anything. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we hit 100 hours of watch time and 3,000 views over on the Lego channel. You guys are freaking awesome. That little channel is just buzzing. It's just buzzing. It's the 7th. It's the 7th. I just realized something. Oops. That's what happens when you copy paste. So, and I wasn't stuck on playing a PlayStation 4 version of the game. I think the Coliseums would be like the perfect way to do a boss rush. You would just go to the Coliseum and then the bosses would just load in and they would get harder and harder and harder and you would just keep playing, right? You could even have it be a bit of a rogue mode. You know what I mean? You could have it be a bit of a, hey, this is a rogue. This is when you keep playing, you get buffs, you get this, you get that. There we go. I just realized I need to record more Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar stuff. I just pushed Day 7 live. I had forgotten about that one today. I've been pushing them at noon. I just decided to shove that one out. Thank you, everybody who has supported that channel. If you want to support the Lego channel, you can use the Lego command in chat. It's a hobby channel that's just cruising in a great direction. It's not even been live for, maybe a week? Big announcement. Microsoft just signed a 10-year deal with Nintendo to bring Modern Warfare to Nintendo. I do not believe that the deal has been signed. I believe it's been offered. If it has been officially signed, then that literally is breaking news, because last night it was a commitment. I don't know if it's been signed. Yo, good morning, Abe. Glad to see the game of the year getting some DLC already, says Abe. Open world Dark Souls just isn't generationally defining to me, says Eugene. I would never describe the game that way. Here's why I think you can describe Elden Ring as a generational defining game. They did open world better than anybody has. Right? Unrelated, would love to see Lono do the Sekiro boss rushes. That could be a Thursday throwdown for members. I don't know. That could be a member goal. I don't know if I'm going to do that just cuz. It was signed last night, supposedly. I want to wait for further details. We almost covered that today, but I was like, I'm not doing a show on a couple of tweets. It is 100% the best open world game. I can't think of a better open world game except for maybe Breath of the Wild. I don't know. I don't really understand the reasons behind making harder to do co-op, especially since invasions are open during it. So extra incentive to make it easier, not harder. Elden Ring has more lore and content from its weapons alone than most games have to engage with. 7 hours ago, Microsoft confirmed. Where did they confirm it? In a press release? On Twitter? Did they do an interview? 7 hours ago? So Microsoft, an American-owned company, they confirmed the deal at 3 a.m. in the morning? I'm not sure about that. I'm questioning the validity of this. What's up, Alex Brida? You the man. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. And thank you guys so much. If you guys see this right here, what this represents is the community got us a 25, and then I gifted 5. I'll do that every time we hit 25. So the next time I'll do it is when that says 55. You guys are awesome. And we're on the doorstep of 1,000 members. Once again, we're at 950. I think Witcher 3 was the best open world game, but that's my opinion. Much better than Breath of the Wild, says P. Dudley. Breath of the Wild is for children, says Hilly. Caleb says yes, because Nintendo is in Japan. It would make sense that the deal gets struck in Japan at that hour. Phil tweeted a 10-year commitment. Please don't confuse it. That's what I'm saying. Phil Spencer tweeted a commitment. We have no idea if this has been officially signed. We have no idea if the ink is dry or if there's even a contract drawn up. I think you guys are jumping the gun, which is exactly why we didn't fricking cover it. Microsoft has entered into a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo following the merger. Okay. Entering into a 10-year commitment. I don't know what that means. It's also pending the merger that hasn't happened yet. So I don't even know if a contract can be signed. It could be a formal handshake. We will do this. We will do this if the merger goes through. It's a conditional statement. We're entering into a commitment pending this merger. Okay, well, the merger hasn't happened yet, so all right. Enter means contract. Hard to enter into a contract with property you don't own, Caleb. I don't know. I think the whole thing. This whole thing sounds a little presumptive. Yo, my man Lawrence, grabbing a triple threat of Reforge Roast. If you guys didn't know it, we have our own coffee here. It's not a sponsor. Here at Reforge Gaming, we have Reforge Roast, and our holiday blend should be here today, hopefully. That's what FedEx told me. I think that I like Bethesda RPG open worlds more than Elden Ring, but that could be down to the interaction with more NPCs. I asked Hogue about it. He said it's all PR noise because Microsoft doesn't officially own it yet. That's what I'm saying. How do you enter into a contract with property you don't own? Hey, if I buy that building, I would like to enter into a contract with you to lease out some of the space. And people will be like, okay, bring us the contract once you own the building. The tweet was poured over by lawyers before it was sent. They chose commitment for a very good reason. The dark roast is amazing, says Abe. The light roast and Frickmas are there too, but that dark roast, says Abe. Yeah, I have a feeling some big announcements are going to be made tomorrow at the award show. I agree with that. Elden Ring is more combat-oriented than dialogue-based. Yeah, let's bring it back. Y'all are coming in here and you're hijacking my show about something that I don't want to talk about until there's more info, okay? I don't want to talk about the Microsoft Call of Duty Nintendo thing. We literally chose not to cover that today for the exact reasons that I'm telling you that you can't say anything that you're saying. We don't frickin' know anything, all right? So everybody stop and let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the topic here, okay? Somebody is saying that they think Elden Ring deserves Game of the Year because it's a generationally defining game, and Eugene said that it's open world Dark Souls, all right? And he doesn't think that's generational defining. And I said that I think it's the best open world game. Let me substantiate or try to argue why I think it's the best open world game. As far as first playthroughs are concerned, the exploratory purpose and the emergent dynamic discovery in Elden Ring is unmatched in any other open world game. It's unmatched. Breath of the Wild comes close, but I still don't think so. I think when it comes to the Elden Ring open world, the exploratory purpose and the emergent dynamic discovery is unmatched by any other open world game in the market, and that's why it's a generational defining game. If they announce a DLC at the award show, is there anything from past titles they could bring to Elden Ring? I don't know. Is open world Dark Souls supposed to be an argument against? Elden Ring Discovery is nuts. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you say it's open world Dark Souls, you're undercutting so much of the value of Elden Ring's open world. Like, yes, it's Dark Souls at its core with the foundational scaffolding, right? The leveling, the RPG elements, the animation sets, the weapon sets. Okay, fine. But when we talk about the open world and as it exists and as it is experienced, it's unmatched. You can't find me an open world game like this anywhere. I'm dead serious. I don't think you can. Elden Ring doesn't just add open world, it adds open world and hit the ball out of the park. It nailed the open world in ways that other games wish it could do. I believe that Elden Ring is the archetypal open world game. If you want to make an open world game, I think you need to model it after Elden Ring. It's open world Dark Souls. They took the Dark Souls formula and applied it to Dark Souls. What? I didn't play Elden Ring. What's so good about the open world? Okay, I tried to make it a concise statement. This is what I believe about the open world in Elden Ring. I believe the exploratory purpose and the emergent dynamic discovery is unmatched. It's unmatched. I cannot play an open world game and get this experience. The exploratory purpose. Let me drill down on that. The exploratory purpose. Every stone you uncover, every cave you go into, every dungeon that you find has the potential to have something meaningful and impactful inside of it. You genuinely feel like you should check everywhere. There is so much exploratory purpose around every corner, every nook, every cranny. So that's me drilling down on exploratory purpose. Now let me talk about what do I mean by emergent dynamic discovery. Because of their choices with UI, mystery, and lore interwoven elements, you never feel like you're doing something rote, rehearsed, or predictable. You genuinely feel like you are discovering the world and the things in it. Every other open world game doesn't do this as excellently as Elden Ring. Because of the UI, it's formulaic, it's predictable. Elden Ring doesn't do that. Now, here's the thing, Eugene. I think one of the reasons, maybe, just maybe, one of the reasons you play down the open world element is how quickly did you start using the map? How quickly did you start using the map and guides? Did you play through completely blind, total discovery? You didn't know where anything was. You didn't know how to open a single locked door or vault or elevator. You didn't know how to do any of that. Or did you pull out that map and a guide in the first hour? I clocked in 300 hours in my first playthrough. You just forget yourself in it. No map vomit like Ubisoft games. You can't even call something as generational defining until you see the impact on something as time progresses as you look back. I used a guide for Ranni's quest. That's pretty late, isn't it? Troll says, I don't think there's one way to do an open world. It's a refreshing take on the open world genre that suits FromSoft's games. I can't see Elden Ring's open world style working on like story-based open world games like Horizon Forbidden West, says Troll. I agree with you, Troll, and allow me to take what you're saying and sort of repackage what I'm saying. What FromSoftware did with Elden Ring's open world isn't just generationally defining, it's ambitious in that it could have gone very poorly. They pulled off something that feels organic. That's incredibly difficult. I do. And to say, okay, so here's the thing, Eugene. Part of what I'm saying when I say it's generational defining is that I'm making a prediction. I believe that Elden Ring will influence future open world games. In 5 years, we're going to turn around and say, these games, you're going to see reviews that say, with clear inspirations from Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, the open world in this game gives a sprawling discovery experience. You're going to read things like that. You're going to see games have just direct, clear inspiration from Elden Ring. The same way that Breath of the Wild inspired so much of what we see in like Immortals, Phoenix Rising, and other open world games, and it's just like, oh, clearly they were inspired by Breath of the Wild. I think the same thing's going to happen with Elden Ring's open world approach. There were a few items I looked up because I wanted specific items. I didn't use the maps until second playthrough. I am genuinely surprised, okay? I'm genuinely surprised, Eugene, that you experienced that map totally blind and you feel like it's just open world Dark Souls. That's shocking to me, knowing your assessment of games quality and the way that you look at games. I'm really just surprised that's what you reduce it to. It's a work of art, and you're talking about it like somebody printed it off on their home printer. I'm like, what? It's not just Dark Souls in an open world. They forget that it's Dark Souls for a minute. The format and approach to the open world is absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so risky to say so little. It's so risky to bake so much into hidden corners and caverns. That's risky. I'm not saying it as a slight. I didn't say that you said it as a slight, but it's still, I can't call it anything else other than reductionist. To look at how they approached open world, and you compare Elden Ring's open world approach and their philosophy to every other open world game, when you say it's just open world Dark Souls, you're doing it a disservice because you're acting as if like, yes, it's just another open world game, it happens to be Dark Souls. No, it is not. No, it is not, because it's better than and not equal to other open world games. That's the point that I'm making. Yeah, it's like saying Returnal's just a bullet hell rogue. No, it's not. Returnal's a work of art. It's ambitious. It's courageous. It's new. It's fresh. It's baked with value. And if anybody said that about Returnal, yeah, it's just a bullet hell rogue, you'd be like, excuse me? No, it's not. Who says that? You're projecting that into my statement? How am I supposed to read it's just Dark Souls open world? That's my point. The minute you say that, you're basically just saying, yeah, it's like all these other open world games. It's just Dark Souls in an open world. Like, I don't know how else I'm supposed to read that. Like, Returnal's not just another rogue. Their approach to the rogue genre is just brilliant and creative and fresh and new. And we have said that Returnal will inspire other games. It already has. I've already seen a couple mimics in Steam. Is there not meaning behind the Dark Souls formula? I'm not drilling down on that part of your statement. I'm drilling down on the open world aspect. That's why I said just stop talking about the Dark Souls part of it. Lono just turned into a black lady for a minute there. Like, stop considering the Dark Souls elements. Just look at the open world design, the use of capital, the depth. Oh my gosh. The absolute scope of depth in this game's approach to open world. There's entire regions beneath your feet. It's stunning. And virtually no open world games have done what this game has done. When I say they took the Dark Souls ideology and formula and applied it to the open world, it's not fair to call it an open world Dark Souls. Okay, we have to read your statement in the context of where you made it. We said that it's a generational defining game. Every time someone says that, they are zeroing in on the open world aspects of the game and how it stacks up to other open world games. Do you see what I'm saying? You're saying it's not generational defining. We said why. Your reason? It's just open world Dark Souls. That's the flow of the conversation. You didn't say it in a way of praise. You said it in a way of reducing it. It's not generational defining. Why? It's open world Dark Souls. That is a reducing statement. It's not this big. It's this big. It's not this grandiose. It's this. I'm going to plead character limit. Okay, well, we're going to let that be submitted to the jury. That's fine. The reason I zeroed in on what you said is Every time I talked about Elden Ring, anytime anybody has talked about Elden Ring being generational defining, it's always been about the open world. It's not been about anything else. Now, Fextra Life argued in their video of Game of the Year versus God of War Ragnarok. Now, they argued the build diversity was a huge element of making it generational defining. And I pushed back on that saying, well, it's a lot of Dark Souls. You know, how much did you really innovate and expand on the Dark Souls combat formula, right? How much did you? You added weapon arts, you added summons, and you added the very, very clear poise bar and jump attacks. Okay. I feel like that's all acceptable. I feel like that's all expected. If they wouldn't have done that, people would have been like, this is no different than the combat in Dark Souls. I don't think anybody looks at the combat in Elden Ring and says, oh my gosh, it's generational defining. I think they say, this is the magnum opus of FromSoftware combat. Now, somebody might say, I disagree, and they would point to Sekiro. They would say Sekiro is far more pristine. Like, Sekiro is more like a very, very tight, perfectly timed orchestra, and Elden Ring's more like jazz. It's rule breaking, and there's looseness to it, and it's beautiful and awesome. But it would be like comparing, a very, very classical piece of music played by a tight, perfectly timed orchestra and like a really great jazz band. Morrowind and Oblivion were better. Those were generational defining. Okay, but when we say generational defining and you want to go back and say they're better, you're not playing fair, because those were generational defining and now we've gone up a level and now we're standing on their shoulders. That's the point. Okay, we've established you can make really big open worlds with tons of stuff to do. Now what are you going to do? And Elden Ring's like, let's try this. Let's try something that is so baked with exploratory purpose and has so many instances of dynamic, genuine, emergent discovery that the player feels as if they are truly exploring a treacherous but also rewarding open world. And they nailed it. They nailed it. Did you play those? No, but I have a hard time believing that Morrowind and Oblivion stack up against Elden Ring's open world. Like, if we're going to try to poison the well, I'd be like, well, Lono, you haven't played them, so checkmate, I win. Morrowind and Oblivion are better. There's probably plenty of people that have played them that would be like, no, like, come on. That old, that long ago, press X to doubt. I doubt they stack up to what Elden Ring's map does. Just the density alone. The scope and the density alone of Elden Ring's map. I have a really hard time believing that maps from back then have that. Because it's not just... So, this is what Elden Ring does that so few games do. They didn't just create density and breadth and size. It's all just jam-packed. There's nothing here. It's just a big empty space. Nope. Every corner, every cave, every cavern, every open field, every lake, there's something happening. Elden Ring is an actual open world. No, not the small open world that we're used to, where the main story is a railroad with side attractions. That's what I'm saying. Take me to any other open world game, and I will find flaws in the breadth and the depth. Well, yeah, you made it huge, but there's sprawling areas that are empty and uninteresting. I want to skip all of this. Or like what Techno's saying, these are just sideshow attractions. I can just blast past them. You know? Like, Elden Ring? What's this? Open a door. Oh my gosh, it's a cavern. It keeps going and going. And oh, there's stuff down here. There's fighting and there's loot. Another spot of map. What's this? You round a corner. Big open lake. What is this? Dragon comes crashing down. Kaboom! Oh, what's this? And you open the door. And it's a giant castle with rooms and wandering pathways and mysteries and locked doors. There's never a moment where you're like, well, this is pointless. I've done everything in Elden Ring. Wait, there's more. Opens the door. My gosh, it's a lake of rot. Closes the door. Nope. Horizon Zero Dawn's open world felt good too, but to be honest, open world is only done right in MMOs because of the cooperative aspect. But that's you're whittling down open world to being done right to one factor. They need to get cooperative right. That's not an indicator of quality of an open world. Morrowind in 2002 and Oblivion in 2006 were great for their time, and they did define the open world for their generation. Elden Ring took what those games did and improved upon it. That was the point that I was making. I praise Elden Ring, but because I won't suck it's this, people get triggered. No, people got triggered when you said it's not generational defining because it's open world Dark Souls. You have to see that the logic there is like, whoa, what? What are you talking about? This thing got 10s out of 10s, and virtually every outlet, every pundit, every YouTuber that touched this thing, including Dr. Disrespect of all people, is like, this game is excellence. It's just excellence. You can't say it's just open world Dark Souls because that's minimizing one of the greatest things about it. It's not just an open world game. It's one of the best, if not the best, open world game. That would be like saying Sekiro is just another really hard melee-based combat FromSoft game. And you'd be like, no, it's not. You'd be like, Sekiro is one of the best melee-based FromSoft games. It's one of the best. It's not just another one. It's just another game where you gotta dodge and parry and block. You know? So when you say that, we're like, oh, it's just open world Dark Souls, you're taking one of the absolute strongest elements of it, and you're making it sound like it's like just another open world game. And I think that's where everybody got snagged. That's where I got snagged. We've gone down this debate now, this rabbit hole debate for 20 minutes because I immediately snagged on you saying that. I was like, what? I've been shocked nobody's countering with Red Dead 2. I think it's the holy trinity of open worlds. Now, Red Dead 2's open world had predictable NPC patterns that were manipulable. It had things that were broken. It didn't work right. Hang on. Elden Ring has that too. All right, hang on. All right. I'm thinking, and I'm weighing. They both have similar things in that regard. Depth, breadth, and exploratory purpose. No, Red Dead loses. Yeah, Vigil's saying the same thing. Yeah, Red Dead didn't have the exploratory purpose. Yeah. And the depth. The absolute depth of, like, you find a cave and it goes down. Oh, no, it doesn't just go down. It goes over, up. I'm out in another area now. There are entire regions beneath your feet in Elden Ring. Red Dead doesn't do that. Red Dead is one of the greatest open world games. Red Dead 2 is one of the greatest open world games, but it loses to Elden Ring, no doubt. Elden Ring does things better and bigger and more grandiose. More purpose, more emergent dynamic discovery. You just feel like things are happening. It doesn't feel built. I immediately said it wasn't a slight. Okay, it doesn't need to be a slight, Eugene. I'm not projecting onto it a slight. When you say it's not generationally defining, and your reasoning is it's open world Dark Souls, you're hacking away at the very root, at the very base of what others think, what I think. I think it's generationally defining because of the open world. We're at loggerheads because you're saying not generationally defining. It's just open world Dark Souls. They took their Dark Souls formula and they applied it to the open world. And I'm like, wait. The open world is the reason that it's generationally defining. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to point to why all the claims about the open world with the breadth and the depth and the scope and the exploratory purpose and the dynamic discovery, the genuine feeling of exploration and finding things, and every nook, every cranny is baked and jam-packed with stuff. You'd have to hack away at all of that. I'm trying to convey that it's the Dark Souls take on an open world. But it's not just the No, it's not just the Dark Souls take on an open world. No, I don't agree with that. Everything that I just outlined is not... You can't draw a straight line between that and Dark Souls. Let's take depth for just one topic. Let's take depth. The fact that there are entire regions to explore beneath your feet. Draw a straight line between that and Dark Souls. What does that have to do with Dark Souls? Instead of just having a big flat set piece or just a big broad horizon, we are going to have just verticality and depth and chasms and regions. Just so much density in the map. That's a open world philosophical decision that has nothing to do with Dark Souls. Caleb with 3 months. Sekiro isn't good because it's the Dark Souls of Ninja Gaiden. Stop it. It's not. No guidance. Mazes connecting back to each other. Itemization. I mean, I'll grant you the maze-like nature of some of the areas is certainly, you can tell it's FromSoft's DNA, but their choice to say our open world will have so much breadth and density that everywhere you go, there's a reason to check every corner. There's a reason to pull up every rock, open every door, because you don't know what might be on the other side. That's not Dark Souls. Dark Souls is massive capital out of a set. They build a set, and they get massive capital out of winding you between that set. Now, if you blow that out into an open world, you might be able to make the argument, well, that's why they did this with the open world. That's why there's so much depth in every region. Right? But I think that, again, is really reducing what they did to such a simple statement. It's like they didn't just say the castles and the dungeons are going to feel like classic Dark Souls. They said, no, the open world is going to feel like a truly dense and sprawling world that you have no idea how much is there. And even when you think you've seen everything, you haven't seen a single thing. Density and expansiveness. No other game has done it that well. Usually expansive games are lifeless. Also, Elden rewards exploration like no other. Right, they took the depth, that ideology, and they applied it to a massive open world, and it worked really, really well. But see, here's the dilemma with what I feel like you're doing. You're saying, oh, they took the Dark Souls formula and applied it to open world. Okay. And what were the results? One of the greatest open world games that has ever lived. This is an open world experience that I have never had before. So, let's draw a parallel to Returnal. Returnal took a third-person action-adventure bullet hell, and they applied it to the formula of a rogue. They said, we're going to jam this into a rogue. We're also going to have like really meaningful story and really deep ideas with music and everything else. What's the result? It's one of the best rogues that you can play. It's an award-winning rogue that will influence other games going forward. That is analogous to FromSoft saying, we're going to take a crack at open world. And the result is an award-winning, universally praised game, and one of the things that's hailed almost every time as the centerpiece of its greatness is its open world. So yes, Oh, they just applied the Dark Souls formula to open world. Do you think that that was easy? Do you think that that wasn't ambitious or risky? Like, what Housemarque did with Returnal was risky and ambitious, and it could have blown up in their faces. Can you imagine taking a tried and true formula, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, even Sekiro. They got 6 games that all kind of work in that formula. Really hard, find the thing, meditate, rest up, get your heals back, right? That formula. No, let's blow that completely out. Let's go open world. Never said that. Right, but when you say they just took the Dark Souls formula and applied it to the open world, and that's why it doesn't deserve generational defining, I say you are not looking at the right end of the telescope. You're looking at the wrong end of the telescope. You can look at one end of the telescope and it makes everything small, and you can look at the other end and it makes everything look big. You're looking at the wrong end. You're like, well, I mean, yeah, I don't get why it's generational defining. I mean, they applied the Dark Souls formula to the open world. No. Look at the finished product. Divorce that from all your knowledge of their games prior to now. Because that's not fair. It's not fair to judge this open world game with some like prior knowledge of like, well, I know that they've made games before this that help them think through map density and breadth and depth of an area and maze-like winding passages and a general sense of discovery and rewarding the player with interwoven loot pieces. You know all that going in. No. Judge it based on what it attempted to do. They attempted to make an open world game. As an open world game, how does it stack up against all other open world games? It blows them out of the water. Well, but they just took the Dark Souls formula and applied it to the Dark... No, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If we look at the trajectory of open world games and the value and the creativity and the innovation, it's like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, like, wow, the slope goes way up, and then it plateaus for a really long time. Another open world game with a bunch of icons. Another open world game with a bunch of icons. Ding, ding, ding. Even one of my favorite games, Spider-Man. They just applied a formula. Open world game with a bunch of icons. And I love Spider-Man, and I enjoyed playing it. But it didn't do anything to move forward the open world idea, the open world concept. And here comes Breath of the Wild. Boom. It moves that trajectory of value up. It's like, wow. This is a pretty impressive feat. And then Elden Ring comes along and says, no, you haven't seen anything yet. We're going to do things that haven't been done before. We're going to create a map and an experience that you've not had before. You can be playing Assassin's Creed, you can be playing Spider-Man, you can be playing a lot of these open world games, even one of my favorites, Ghost of Tsushima, and there is a sense of familiarity and predictability. You feel like you're sort of moving through a set piece, and that's okay. Elden Ring doesn't do that. Elden Ring delivers something that is truly special on that first playthrough. Narwaffle's going to get us one step closer to the next batch of gifteds, taking us to 31 members. Every 25 members, guys, I gift 5 to the community. So you can make me gift 5 every 25. So when that says 55 over 25, I'll do 5 more. Jonathan Brown gets it. Thank you, Narwaffle, for that generosity. If you guys ever feel like paying it forward or gifting some members or becoming a member, it supports me and what we do here directly. In 10 years, I may look back and call it generationally defining. It's obviously both praise and prediction, Eugene. When I say that Elden Ring is generational defining, it's both praise and prediction. I firmly believe that in 2030, 8 to 10 years from now, we will be looking at open world games and saying they took a page out of Elden Ring's approach. Just like we looked back and said like Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim influenced an entire generation of open world games. Just like Breath of the Wild had clear inspirations into games like Immortal Phoenix Rising. We're going to look back and say, yeah, man, Open world games are very different now. There's so many more companies that have approached that Elden Ring density, depth, exploratory purpose, dynamic discovery thing. It's not a predictable set piece with icons on it. Some of it's prediction, but also Skyrim was known as generational within 6 months. Well, sometimes you say, we've never seen anything the likes of this. That certainly happens. Why doesn't From believe that, though? I don't think From wants to buy into the hubris. The guy responsible for it says he won't use that formula again. Why would anyone else? Because good artists steal. And sure, he's a visionary, and sure, he's like, I don't want to turn into a... Listen, the reason that you get Elden Ring at the level of quality that it is because of Miyazaki's commitment to the art. That's why he doesn't want to do it again. He doesn't want to become a formulaic, predictable company. Yep, here comes another FromSoft game. It's going to be just like Elden Ring, but now we're ninjas, or now we're lizard people. Who the frick cares? His commitment to not becoming formulaic is not an indication that other companies will not take inspiration. Do you honestly think companies are looking at the success and the praise of Elden Ring's open world, and they're going like, why would we try and do that? Why would we try and copy that? They will. Breath of the Wild's praise led to an almost immediate impact on the market. You like within what 4 or 5 years, you saw games mimicking what Breath of the Wild did. And if we're honest, Miyazaki may never admit to this. Breath of the Wild influenced Elden Ring. Maybe he did admit to this in interviews. I'm not sure. Breath of the Wild influenced Elden Ring. Elden Ring will influence other open world games. Miyazaki not wanting to become formulaic has nothing to do with that. So Skyrim and Elden Ring both brought people into a series, and I think part of it is people never experienced those game types before. You could say Elden Ring is a melting pot of other games, and it comes out as a handcrafted masterpiece. Right. It's like the first time you try an ingredient in something and it just completely changes the flavor. You're like, well, it's just a bunch of these ingredients. It's like, well, no. It's like the perfect combination of all those ingredients. Also, Lono, nice shirt. Thank you. What is the delay on influence with modern development cycles? 3 years? 5 years? Well, yeah, you got to think, Zubair. I would imagine, since open world games are so large in scope, it would take longer. Like, if you're talking about a turn-based game and some game tries something new with turn-based mechanics and it gets tons of praise, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, mid-production, other games could say, hey, we could do some logistical changes and rule set changes and we could implement that idea. Like when Fortnite stole the ping system and the reboot cards from Apex. Like, that's not far-reaching. That's not scope-defining. So anybody building an open-world game that wants to take inspiration from Elden Ring, it's going to take 4 or 5 years because they'd have to be in, like, pre- or early production right now and say, let's consider what they did and how we could apply some of that to what we're doing because we're building the world right now. Once that world is built, I don't know how much they could try to bake in. When we see the influence of Elden Ring, I would imagine 6 years, 5 or 6 years minimum. 5 or 6 years minimum. Really, really good open world games are not going to be, cranked out and clearly influenced by Elden Ring in the next 3 or 4 years. I don't think so. Now, you might play something that you think is influenced by Elden Ring in a couple of years, but maybe it was just influenced by Breath of the Wild. I would say 5 to 6 years before we start seeing people say this game took clear inspiration from Elden Ring. Yeah, the latest Fortnite update. I really wanted to do another stream about my MMORPG theory. Yo, another order of Reforge roast 10 minutes ago. 2 Frickmas and a light roast for Ion. Thank you so much. This guy wants to make thumbnails for me, creature. He doesn't know. Sorry for the repeat question, but what exactly makes it good? The lack of UI hints that every corner of the game has something valuable. I already drilled down on everything. You're going to make me repeat myself, Robert, which is part of the business. It's part of being a streamer, but I did this for Zubair. I drilled down on, here's the concise thing, Robert. I think that Elden Ring's open world has unmatched exploratory purpose and emergent dynamic discovery. I think it's unmatched. Now, if I drill down on those things, well, what do I mean by exploratory purpose? If you think about exploratory purpose, there is so much depth, there is so much breadth, there is so much purpose to every corner, every nook. There are entire regions under your feet that are worth your exploration. Then when you take that and you do it, right? So we're starting with this. Exploratory purpose. All the things underneath it. Then take that and then you go do it. The experience feels genuinely emergent and dynamic and unique to you. It feels like you're actually discovering an area or a world or a sword. All of those things are unmatched by virtually any other open world game. Other open world games, they're not going to have the depth, the breadth, or the exploratory purpose. They're going to feel predictable. They're not. It's not going to feel like a genuine emergent discovery thing. It's like, well, yeah, I can see everything. I know everything is. There's icons on the map. The world feels like a giant set piece. It's just been kind of put together that has predictable game flow. Somebody said above, it's like a choose your own adventure, and that helped me get it. Yeah. I think their hands-off approach added a lot of vibrancy to it. Nocturne opening up was special. Tell me you don't want to just type open world Dark Souls. Our goal was to allow players to do what they want, define their own goals, make their own discoveries, embrace their own values, and find their own interpretations. Miyazaki. I believe he succeeded. Soft world building versus hard world building. Special and unique doesn't equal generational defining. I believe that it does, because I believe this will influence an entire generation of open world games. Let me come at this from a completely different angle. Eugene. The reason it will be generational defining is it's giving open world games a way out of a rut. It will impact the market of open world games that are, at some level, seemingly stuck in a rut. The formulaic approach, every open world game essentially follows the same rules. The development world can rise above that and say, no. FromSoft showed us the way. There's a way out of this. We don't... This will raise, it's going to, as I believe it already has, it will raise the value of open world games because it's raised our expectations of them. That's why it's generational defining. The gaming world at large came together and said, this is easily one of the best open world games ever built. And they listed all the reasons that I did, probably in more nuanced, more intelligent ways than I have. That raises the industry and the community's expectations of open world games. That's why it's generational defining. People are always going to say, is it as good as Elden Ring? Is the open world as good as that was? I'm not even a FromSoft fan. Well, this is what somebody will say, right? I'm not even a FromSoft fan, and man, that Elden Ring was great. Is it going to be as good as that? It's the new measuring stick. That's exactly right. It's the new coup de grace. It's the new king. It's like, beat that. Beat that open world. Deliver that level of discovery and depth and breadth. Do it. It's like Hades has been for rogues. Yeah. The rogue environment was shaped and shook by probably Binding of Isaac. And then you have all these different rogues spinning up, spinning out. And then Hades walks in the room. Now people expect that from a rogue. I think Returnal is having a similar effect. Hey man, that's a special game. If I'm going to play a rogue, I want it to have that level. Look at what Returnal's already doing to rogues. And I'm going to say the name of a game that you're going to say, really? Yes, really. Vampire Survivors. I don't think you're seeing a rise in bullet hell rogues. There was one called Brotato. I don't think you're seeing a rise in that by accident. I don't. Returnal has already impacted the rogue market. People designing rogues are getting out of the Dead Cells would be another defining rogue. I would put Dead Cells ahead of Hades and Hades after Dead Cells. So it's like Binding of Isaac, Dead Cells, Hades, maybe Returnal. And now you're seeing all these bullet hell rogues crop up. It's very quick. Maybe I'm not as strict on what I call generation defining, but when a game comes out and sets a new baseline and new games have to measure up to that, that's a generation defining game to me. That's the new approach I'm taking in the argument, Abe, is essentially what you just typed up very concisely. Exactly right. This is the new baseline. Hades did it for rogues. The Elden Ring game gave me a sense of wonder I hadn't felt in over a decade. Oblivion was the last game to make me feel that, and other than the 2 original Halos, it's the only other game to make me feel like that. Most of that is due to me being a gamer for a long time, and I honestly thought no game would make me feel like Oblivion and Halo did when I first played them. Somehow Elden Ring did it. Should we be saying genre defining? No, because I think the impact of this will span a generation. Yeah. I want Fallout games to do what Elden Ring does with its open world. I want to just run around and explore and nothing guide me. Imagine a post-apocalyptic world we just drop into and you just go. That's right. I just go. What do you think of Spider-Man's open world? It's fine. There's a predictability to it. There's a safeness to it. Only 5 games remain in our 100% fan-voted award Player's Choice. You got to lock in your votes before 9 p.m. tonight. For the Game Awards. We will be co-streaming. We are one of the official co-streamers of the Game Awards. We received our packet already. There it goes. There it goes. Some shorts now are taking a lot longer to cook, but buddy, when they cook, we did 3 last night on updates. I was like, oh no, they're all stinkers. And then I checked on them this morning. I was like, oh, they all did fine. Well, I think 2 out of the 3 did fine, which, I'll take those odds. And then the one this morning I think did great too. Yeah, the Cyberpunk and the Callisto one both did great. Horizon one did fine, and then the Elden Ring one did great this morning. The shorts are really, really fun. We got the wrong featured video over there though. On updates, it's one of the older ones. I balk at generational defining until I see hard evidence. Like I said, Eugene, I believe maybe one of the reasons you're balking at it is it's both praise and a prediction, and you hear the praise as a claim, right? I had no idea Vampire Survivors had gotten this big. It felt like a little garage band only I knew about, but apparently they're playing sold-out stadiums. Yeah, they made massive headlines. We almost checked it out today, but we didn't. Is it possible to make a story-based open-world game like Elden Ring? Why has no one done it after Morrowind and Oblivion? I don't know. We get it, Eugene. You don't like or aren't good at Elden Ring. Rock, one of the biggest problems with presuming something about somebody is you're going to make yourself look really, really dumb. He actually played the ever-loving snot out of Elden Ring, and he likes it quite a bit. Don't like it, and I'm not good. Yeah. Don't care? Well, if you don't care about looking stupid, then I guess that's fine. I mean, you know, do you go to McDonald's and try to order tacos? You know what I'm saying? Do you make a habit of just doing dumb things in your life? Because Eugene is a huge fan of Elden Ring. He played the ever-loving snot out of it. Platinum Sekiro, Dark Souls 3, not good. Yeah. He Platinum Sekiro, Platinum Dark Souls 3. He beat, Nameless King? He beat Nameless King his first try. But yeah, he's not good at these games, though. He's not good at them. Great thing about Elden Ring is that it forces hard mode. A lot of the open world let you play in easy mode, and it kills the experience. So this is a McDonald's. We don't sell tacos. Rock's like, Lamau, I don't care. Caleb says, I balk at silly tropes like open world Dark Souls. To be honest, Elden Ring isn't as hard as Sekiro. I don't think anything's as hard as Sekiro. Now, the Neo guys are going to come in here and tell me that Neo's harder. I can't weigh in on that. I believe Sekiro is the hardest game I've ever played. I believe there are ways to make Sekiro the hardest game out there. I don't know. Real fans platinum it twice. Yeah. It shows dedication, not necessarily great skill. I disagree. I don't think you're going to platinum Sekiro and platinum Dark Souls 3 without a large amount of skill. Yeah, especially in the time that he did it. Like the timeline of Eugene platinuming those games, that's not dedication. That's skill and dedication. It's both. Yeah, if you say, "Oh, I platinum Sekiro," and someone says, "How long did it take you?" 3 years? Okay, well then that might not be an indication of skill. It's an indication that you're just very, very dedicated. But the timeline of how long it took him to fly through those games at the level of difficulty that they are, and at the level of exhaustiveness that he played them, there is a high level of skill. I've told Wheezy and Eugene the same thing. Sometimes they talk about games and they forget that they're very good at them, right? They forget that they're like really good at these games. Some people, it's like in Good Will Hunting when Matt Damon tells his girlfriend that, you know, she looks at the piano and she sees Beethoven and he sees a box with keys in it. And he looks at all these complex math equations and stuff and they just make sense to him. I think there are people that literally sit down and they play Sekiro and they play Dark Souls and Elden Ring, and they literally, it's like Neo in the Matrix. They just see it all. They're like, yep, telegraph, yep. Okay, that's a two swing. That's a two swing wind up with a third. Okay, that's going to lead to an AoE splash. Okay, I got a window there. I got a window there. That's a fake out. No, that's a fake window. That's not a window. Like, their brain just does that, right? And you know what I do? Come on! Let me get in and hit! Like, they're just they're cut from different cloth than me. You can see it in their line of work. You know what I'm saying? You can see it in what they do with their life and their passions. Their brain just works differently. You know, I get in there and I just seethe with rage, and I brute force so much of the game. Like when I beat Genichiro in Sekiro, people were like, "You basically played that on hard mode. You only used your sword. You didn't use any of this other stuff." Well, that's just what I do. I'm a freaking stubborn donkey with enough skill to be dangerous, and I just keep going until it's over. Like, I will beat you is typically how I approach things. It's why the channel's still here, and it's why we call it Reforge. You see what I'm saying? Like, the reason that I beat Sekiro and Elden Ring is the very different reasons than the reason that guys like Wheezy and Eugene beat those games. He'll drown you in grit. Yeah, I'll still be standing, and your 1,000-man army will be like, how is he still there? I don't understand. We've killed him 1,000 times. Donkeys are jealous of how stubborn you are. That's right. So it's different sets of mentalities, ability, and skill. And I will say, from the feedback and the completion times of these games for Eugene and guys like Wheezy, they play at a level that other people don't play at. They're not like better than you, they're just different than you. Again, they look at it and they see Mozart. They see every little piece and it just makes sense to their brain. And I just get irritated. I'm like, this guy's just spamming. And they're like, bro, if you dodge twice and roll forward, you get out of all of it. It's so much harder for me to see those things. Yeah. Sekiro. If somebody made me guess and throw a dart in the dark, I'd be like, Sekiro is Eugene's favorite out of all the FromSoft games. Yeah, Captain America, I can do this all day. I'm Captain America, I can do this all day. And these guys are more like Neo when he sees the Matrix, like dink, 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 block, 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 punch. And it's like, that's not me. You're going to knock me down 1,000 times, and I'm just going to keep getting back up, and I'm going to find my windows eventually. I want to go back and watch Lono Sekiro playthrough now. I've actually wanted to replay it. Because I honestly think I'm going to like it more than Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring. I always thought Eugene is a little more of a big planet kind of guy. The combat in Sekiro is probably the best out of all of the FromSoft games. Bloodborne still number 1. I will play Bloodborne and weigh in on it when they give me a version to play at 60 FPS. Gotta go back to Sekiro myself. It's hard, but I really want to finish it. Yeah, that's the longest boss fight I've ever experienced in a game. 5 hours on Ishin. I almost gave up twice. Been having a ton of work and lurk, but I have to put out the idea theory that Elden Ring is going back to early open world games with exploration was more of a thing. It's possible. Yeah, that's possible that they kind of maybe went back to basics, yeah. Might not be able to play Bloodborne then. I don't think the Sony's going to do that. I need to dive back into Neo again, getting that itch again. Lono, which announcement will you prefer at the Game Awards? Sekiro 2 or Bloodborne PC or Elden Ring DLC? If we had to choose one. Oh, that's so difficult. Elden Ring DLC is definitely in third place. Sekiro 2, then Bloodborne. Yeah. I have an attachment to Sekiro already. I don't have an attachment to Bloodborne. They're virtually tied. A Bloodborne PC release or a Bloodborne next-gen patch with like 60 FPS, that would be amazing. Because you know what would happen? People would love watching me play through that, and it'd be fun. It'd be so fun. But I have an attachment to Sekiro. Sekiro and I have a spiritual relationship. I don't think that bond can be broken by like, well, Bloodborne's super popular. Like, I experienced something when I beat Sekiro. Like, something happened. There's too much that was going on in my life and in my reforging and reforming my business that when I beat Sekiro, it was a spiritual experience. It was all of the rage and the grit and the determination and the anger and the frustration poured out in a 5-hour effort. Yes, I have a wife and 2 children. He grew a full beard while playing it. You need to play Bloodborne F to 60 FPS? No, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it. I'm already on record saying I won't play Starfield if it doesn't hit 60 FPS. I don't play 30 FPS games. I don't do it. I don't have high-end equipment and next-gen consoles and a TV from NASA to sully my eyeballs with 30 FPS. You were going to try Monster Hunter Rise when it comes to Game Pass. I think this version of Monster Hunter covers a lot of your previous complaints. Yeah, I'm going to try it, Diaz. Yes. Probably just for an afternoon, though. Yeah. Bloodborne FPS and better load time. Insta quit Bloodborne due to loading screens. Oof, yeah. You and Sekiro have a spiritual connection. What happened to you and your wife? Who are you? Who are you? Don't you play Switch games? Not really, no. If I play Switch games, it's games like Nintendo Sports or something with my kiddos. Yeah, I was trying to get Breath of the Wild to run on a PC so I could play it with my wife co-op and have 60 FPS. I don't. Yeah, Mario Strikers. Oof. Yeah, I don't play a lot of games on my Switch. Whoa, new camera angle. We started doing that camera angle like a month ago. You're the one who needed to do the essay? No, I remember that. I've been streaming for a long time. I remember that, yes, you were the one that needed to take a break to write the essay. I remember. If you want more From games at 60 FPS, I think Dark Souls Remaster and Dark Souls Scholar. No, I'm not playing those. No. I tried to play Demon Souls after playing Elden Ring. I can't do it. I can't go back in time. I can only go forward. Yeah. I'm like a time traveling machine that can only go in one direction. I can't go backward. I can't do it. All of the rough edges, the having to retread areas in Demon Souls, the clunkiness, I know for a fact I'd play Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2. I'd play for less than an hour and be like, no, this isn't for me. I can't do it. Can't do it. Can only go forward. And Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro are at a quality that, like, I could play them. And, you know, I wish I had played Demon Souls all the way through before playing Elden Ring. Also remember, I put down Elden Ring. I couldn't bother with a third play. Yeah, a lot of people just ran out of steam with Elden Ring. I think that happened to a lot of people. Bloodborne combat was the best in my opinion. Still pushing you through Demon Souls and Dark Souls Remastered? No. Oh, you're still pushing through Demon Souls and Dark Souls Remastered. What about a Nioh 2 playthrough? I don't think Nioh games are for me, no. Because I played a game that was made by the people who made Nioh, and I didn't like it. It's too fast. It's too fast. Like, Sekiro takes me to the very edge of what my brain can enjoy, and Nioh, it's like they doubled the speed or something. Like, you know how I listen to videos and audiobooks at like 1.5, like 1.25, but when you go beyond that, it's too fast. You go up to 2, and it's like, the vision number is something, it's something, oh, right, and you're like, I don't understand what they're saying. That's what it felt like when I played that game made by the guys who made Nioh. It was like, this is beyond what my brain can enjoy. This is beyond what my brain can enjoy. Oh yeah, the hands-on previews are supposed to come out today, Takashi. Today, there's going to be a big Diablo 4 announcement tomorrow during the Game Awards, and they said that the embargo was dropping today for all the people that got a hands-on with it. I'm really interested in what people are going to say. I can't go back and play old games like Dead Space 1. Yeah, I just can't do it. Another reason I hesitate to call it generational defining, its defining characteristic hurts it. It only hurts it if you approach the replay in a particular way. So that's not an objective fact. It's a subjective fact, and it only applies to replay, which, again, not everybody agrees with that. You know what I'm saying? That's a subjective... I don't think that applies. Slight change of plans may get Frickmas soon. Do it! You're excited for Jedi Survivor? I am. I rage quit Neo at a female boss after a dozen of failed tries. You get stuck there and you're really stuck. Yeah, I can't. It's just too fast. Like, I know, you know your limitations, right? Like, you just know your limitations. And I sensed in the Ishin fight, or the Ishin fight, I sensed that I could overcome it. It beat me down pretty bad, but I knew I could beat it. And when I played that game, what was that game called? I don't even remember what it's called. I just could tell, I'm like, I'm not going to like this. It's just too fast. You can only go forward, but you'll consider playing Vampire Survivors, which is basically an NES game. You're making a fatal mistake of confusing art style with outdated mechanics and combat fluidity. That's a big mistake to make. The art style of Vampire Survivors does not hinder its fun, fluidity, and moment-to-moment combat. Going back and playing really old games, you will find that as pretty as Demon Souls is, it's got a very clunky, old game feel. It does. They wanted to stay true to the original game, sure, but it doesn't feel like, it doesn't have the combat fluidity. Yeah, it was Wolong Fallen Dynasty, thank you. Regarding Monster Hunter Rise, I kind of casually enjoy the games. I think if you really want to enjoy the game, you need to make it to Master Rank. They added new... I'm not doing that. Really sad the game takes that long. That's the thing with Mon Hun games that always shocks me. People are like, it gets good at the 28th hour. I'm like, have fun. I'm not doing that. Plague Doctor one? Oh no. Tymesia was great, Barrier. I loved Tymesia. I wanted to beat Tymesia. I got pretty good at that. Sifu movie in the works from the creator of John Wick. Well, that'll be awesome. I dropped World in 5 hours. People are telling me that Monster Hunter Rise is gonna be more enjoyable for me after I've made a lot of criticisms of Mon Hun. Yeah, so. If you guys have enjoyed this stream, do all the things to show some appreciation. You can smash the like button. You can become a member. Every 25 members, I'm gifting 5 members. Thank you for all the people that did that today. We did it once. We could do it again. We are going to get ready to change gears here, though, and go to a members-only segment. We've gone the distance with the topic. I can always kind of feel it. You can sense it. You can sense the shift. We're just sort of having... a conversation about, it's like a free-for-all. So we're going to get ready to transition here. Great time to gift members and take a bunch of people hostage and show them what our members-only content is like. We are doing members-only content now in the middle of the day. It's a bit of a lunch break for me. It lets me kind of take a bit of a break and rest, and then we can just kind of hang out. Now, we've been doing, we did Mean Comment Mondays. We did New Trailer Tuesdays. Today's just going to be like a wind-down Wednesday. We're just going to kind of hang out and shoot the bull. I don't have a super exhaustive segment for you today, because we were going to do Watch List Wednesday. If you guys want to do Watch List Wednesday, feel free to provide me with a bunch of games that you think should be on people's watch list, but I don't have that prepared because I can't have that every single week, right? I see the advent calendar on the Brick Abbey channel. Subscribe now. Yes, if you guys like Legos, we launched a Lego channel. It's a little hobby channel, and we're working our way through the TIE Fighter right now. And we did we're doing like daily uploads of the Advent calendar. That's been really fun. Wind down? No, wind down. Not wine. As in like we're drinking wine. Let me get the redirect set up. If you want to come with us and see all the content, I know for a lot of people, you just come to YouTube and watch, and that's great. We do not disrupt these live streams with ads. One of the reasons we're able to do that is because of members. So if you appreciate not ever seeing ads, that's a great way to support what we do. Become a member, join us for our members' content. You can also gift members. Or the more you watch, you might get a gifted. It bases it off of loyalty. So I'm gonna quickly do this. We just completely hit the end of the stream. Like, it just happened kind of quickly. I do think something happened on YouTube. We spiked up to like 420 viewers, and I'm like, that's kind of odd. And then we dropped all the way down to 300. That typically means a bunch of people had to refresh. So we might have had a blip that sort of unceremoniously ended the conversation. YouTube has been changing things with live streams, and things have gotten way better. And they might have just pushed out some kind of an update today that might have caused a bit of a blip. Okay. Catch your second stream, hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, second stream is going to be about the Witcher remake hands-on. If you guys don't want to ride the redirect, you can click the link in chat to keep hanging out and talking and head over to the members stream. Thanks so much for clicking on this. Last week for Wednesday members only, we did Watch List Wednesday. Try to put a bunch of games on your radar that have recently come out or are coming out. I don't have a list prepared this week because there's only so many games we can do that with. Members, you can honestly help with that if you want. You can submit games in the Discord. We're going to call this Wind Down Wednesday. We're just going to kind of wind down, take a break, have some lunch, and just talk and just kind of shoot the bull. Having a segment every day is great, but sometimes we may just end up hanging out. We're going to end the previous stream. We were talking about the Elden Ring DLC. It was a great discussion. As a reminder, I am not going out of town as originally planned, so we will be covering the Game Awards Thursday night and having streams the rest of the week as usual. And that is something you can look forward to.